So let us now see how can we solve the problem of selection not in a randomized fashion but in a deterministic fashion. So there will be no randomized choice in any part of the algorithm like the previous one. Algorithm is actually quite nice, and this algorithm actually is built on the paradigm called prune and search. So this is another paradigm you are going to learn through this algorithm. So you have already learned one paradigm which is called divide and conquer, where you divide something into two parts, solve the sub-problems and merge them. Here what we are going to do, which you have already seen in the last lecture, that instead of recursing on two parts you are throwing away one part. That is called the pruning. So you are searching after pruning the data by some means. So that's why this paradigm is called prune and search. If your pruning is good, in the sense that if you can eliminate a fraction of the input all the time, if you can guarantee that, then you will see that complexity will be quite good. Most of the time it will be linear. So if you are doing linear time of work on only one part of your data, where you are throwing away at least a fraction of the data, and if you iterate on that, your complexity still remains linear. We will see that, and that is the paradigm on which this algorithm is built upon. So this time, instead of seeing the kth smallest, we are trying to find out the median of an algorithm. Sorry, median of a set of numbers. Okay, why we are interested in finding the median of a set of numbers? Remember, in the partition routine, if I can solve the median problem, if I can choose median as the pivot, then I know that the partition will give a partition of the array in almost equal halves. Then our previous algorithm of select can throw away at least half of the numbers all the time. So if we can do the median selection of a set of numbers in linear time, we can do this prune and search quite effectively for selecting the kth smallest. Alright, so let us now concentrate on median finding. Median finding. I hope everybody knows what is the median. It is the middle element with respect to the value. Now what I will do, first I will tell you the algorithm, most probably pictorially or in plain English. Then when you have understood the algorithm, the basics of it, how it is working, then at the end, after the analysis and everything is done, I will give you the pseudocode. I don't want to confuse with the pseudocode at the very beginning for this algorithm. First you understand what is the strategy. Okay. Once you understand a strategy or a method for solving a problem, you can write down your pseudocode, your C code, C++, J++, whatever it is. Alright, so this is our algorithm in a very plain English. First, what we do, we divide the numbers in groups of 5. So we divide the numbers in groups of 5 first. So let us see pictorially what does it mean. I need to draw some. Okay, so what I did here, this is a pictorial representation of division. So we have been given the array. What you do, first you have divided the number n by 5, suppose it is k. So here you put the k elements, next k elements in the rows of 5, so that you have a group of 5 in each column. Alright, So you have a group of 5 numbers in each column. Now the next step, so what we have done, so if I write it, what you have done, for example, so I am writing easy as for example, for k is equal to n over 5, so we take the seal of this. Don't worry about the seal and floor, you can assume n is a divisible of n is divisible by 5 for analysis, it will be easier. Otherwise you can always carry out your analysis very precisely using this, but if you are confused, assume n is divisible by 5. Sometimes it will be easier for you to grasp the concept. Now, so what one group will be aj plus k, because this, suppose this is aj, the next number will be aj plus k because you have taken k elements in the array. So your next element will be aj plus k. This will be aj plus 2k. So aj plus 2k. Next one will be aj plus 3k. Next one will be aj plus 4k. So this will form a group. So probably the first group is this. Okay. Now our next step will be, so this is our next step. Find the median of each group. So in a picture, what does it mean? It means I have found the median of each group. So this is the position of the median. So this is the median. This is the median here in this group. Yeah.
KB n by 5 plus 1 0.
Again, I am telling you, don't get confused with this precise 1 or 2. Yes, I think this k is fine also. It doesn't matter. But assume n is divisible by 5. Otherwise, there will be questions like this, whether there will be n plus 5 plus 1 or minus 1, seal, floor, but those are not the important things here. You can go back at home, if you have understood this algorithm, you can precisely find out what it should be. But this is right. What I have written, this is also right. You can make your algorithm work like that. Okay, but let's first understand the concept, which is more important at this point. Okay, so this is the median of these 5 numbers. So how can you choose the median of these 5 numbers? What would you do? Very naive method. You do any naive way of selecting it. Because you have been given 5 numbers, you can always choose the median of 5 numbers in a naive manner, very brute force manner. Or you can sort these 5 numbers using, say, insertion sort. When total number is less, you should always use the insertion sorting, because that always gives you a better timing. So suppose by that one we have chosen, this is the median of these 5 numbers. And I am just pictorially representing it, all the medians. Okay. So when I say medians, I mean that these numbers probably have been sorted. It doesn't matter actually. Even if it not sorted, I just pictorially meaning that this number now is the median. Okay. What is the next step now? So each group, okay, this can be done using insertion sort on 5 numbers. Now the third step is, now how many numbers you have, how many total medians you have? Roughly k, that is n over 5. Roughly we have n over 5 medians. What you do, take all these medians and find out the median of all these medians. But remember, we are finding out the medians now on a fraction of the input. Now suddenly your input has become n over 5, not your original L. And I told you at the beginning that one will be our goal, to recurse or to repeat our algorithm on a fraction of the input. So now recurse on the n over 5 medians to find their median. All right. So in picture, so probably if I take this, oh, this is a nice one. So this is the median of the median. I'm not saying this number will be median of the median, but if I arrange them, this is the position of the median of the median. If I arrange all the medians properly in a sorted manner, this will be the position of the median. Okay, but I actually in algorithm I am not arranging them. Mind that I am not sorting them in algorithm. This is just a pictorial representation, but I have found this person who is the median of the median. Okay, now the fourth step, partition the array. This is our pivot now. This median of the median is the pivot. Partition the array with median of medians as pivot, and you recurse, and you just do as you are doing. If I was less than equal to q, find key, find the ith key on low side, else find I minus qth key on right side. Okay, so this part we have already seen, but the point I was telling you, if I can partition the array in a balanced manner, our algorithm will be linear. Analysis I will show you, but I am saying this pivot, median of the median, is a very good pivot. It is guaranteed that it will partition the array in a very balanced manner. I am sure if I give you enough time, if you go back home and just check why it is so, you will find out why it is so. But let me just tell you the reason why it is so, and this picture will help you. So this is the position of the element, right? Now suppose this is not, we are not going to do inside the algorithm, but for your pictorial representation, suppose these two numbers, these numbers have been sorted according, this is the median, so this is the position of the number with respect to this 5. Okay, so now let's see the numbers which are less than this number. So these are the numbers which are less than this. Now these numbers are also less than this person. So I am sure this sector, all these numbers are less than this person. I am guaranteed. Yes. So see, this is the median of all these numbers. So the suppose I have arranged them in a manner such that these numbers are really less than this. In the algorithm I am not going to do it. This is just to know how many numbers are less than this in the actual. So I know all these numbers are less than this person, because this is the median of medians, and since each one of them is a median in the group of 5, so these two numbers are less than this, these two numbers are less than this, and these numbers are less than this. So all these numbers, this sector, are less than this person. I am guaranteed. So what I know, that at least this many positions have to be filled by some numbers which are less than this person. I don't know exactly which are the numbers, but I know that there exist. Is the question of existence. Similarly, I can claim this sector are going to be greater than equal to this number. Same reason, because these are greater than this person and all these numbers are greater than this. So I know at least this sector, all these positions have to be greater than this person. Okay, and for the analysis, for the analysis sake, assume that this is filled. Otherwise, there will be a gap of 2 or 3. But it does not matter again in the analysis, because this 2 or 3 will always be absorbed in the constant. I can always do that. Okay, so for the analysis part, let us assume that it is filled. So now tell me how many. So actually, how many numbers at least are greater than this guy, and how many numbers are at least less than this person? Tell me.
11 are at least less and 11 are at least more.
What 11? Why 11? No. I'm not in this example. In general, I'm asking. When n?
3k by 2.
Huh?
3k by 2.
3k by 2? No. 3k by 2. Yes. Who said it? That's very good. Yes, 3k by 2. In terms of n, what does it mean? 3 n over 10.
Yeah.
So 3n over 10 elements are at least greater than this percent, and 3n over 10 elements are at least less than this percent. At least this many numbers are there. Because this is how much? N over 10. Because total is n over 5. There are n over 5 elements in the median, and this is roughly n over 10 elements greater than this, n over 10 elements less than this. So n over 10, there are 2 n over 10. N over 10, n over 10, n over 10. So total 3 n over 10. Similarly, n over 10, n over 10, n over 10. So there are 3 n over 10. Yes.
Can't we include those two elements that are directly above the median of median and directly below the median of median?
These two?
Yes, sir, in the larger ones.
Yes, you can. Again, it doesn't matter. I'm saying actually we are when you say 3 n over 10, we are including them, because n over 10 I'm including them at least in one side. Okay, but let us again whether this will go on this side or this side, it does not. Yes, we can definitely, because we know these are the elements which are greater than this. Yes, we can do that. So we know at least 3n over 10 elements are greater than this percent, and at least 3n over 10 elements are less than this percent. So what does it mean now? If I know this, in terms of the picture, my pivot, see pivot is sitting somewhere. So but I know at least 3n over 10, sorry, 3n over 10 is here, and at least 3n over 10 is here. I don't know about this percent, how much, this pivot can be anywhere, but this is guaranteed. So what does it mean in terms of the algorithm? How much it is eliminating? At least how much? 3n over 10 you can eliminate safely. If you are recursing on the left half, then you are sure you have eliminated 3n over 10 element on the right half. Because right half you are sure that it contains at least 3n over 10 elements. And if you are recursing on the right half, then you are sure there are at least 3n over 10 elements on the left half, and you have eliminated. Is this clear? So, and that's it. That is the major observation of this entire algorithm. You can choose an element which can guarantee this partition. See, I am not requiring exactly n over 2 or n over 2, and this one I will show you that we don't require. As long as it is a fraction, it is all right. So let us see now how can we analyze this algorithm.
So is that n over 2 partition achievable? Can you divide each into half?
Once you know the median, you can. So this is the algorithm to find the median, which you run in linear time. Then use this median to partition into equal half, and for the kth element you use that partition. You understand? There will be a lot of recursions going on. To find the median, there are lots of recursion, and on top of it, your kth element is using this one as recursion again and again. The constant will be very high actually for this algorithm. Hidden constants. Okay, so let us first analyze this. So how can we write this? Tn is, what should I write? Tn now is what? After all I told you? No, this median finding. I am trying to analyze this median finding algorithm. So Tn is equal to, go over those steps. Don't use k. Tell me in terms of n. So Tn is equal to, first Tn by 5 is there, because you are trying to find out median of medians. There are n by 5 roughly medians. That will be there. Then
T5 into
T5 into n by 5.
n by 5.
This n by 5 has taken care of the finding the median of median. Then you are going to recurse this algorithm on one half. and I told you 3n over 10 is going over. What is remaining then? So you will be recursing on how much? 7n by 10. So this must be less than equal to Tn 7n by 10, because you are eliminating 3n over 10 either on the left hand side or on the right hand side. So this is at most. That's it. Is that it? Plus order of n is there. Order of n you cannot, first of all you remember groups of 5 you made, then groups of 5 you find the median of these 5 elements. So if you have n over 5 groups, that has, each group has taken order one time, but total time is order n. So order n you cannot forget. Okay. Now my claim is this has a complexity, worst case complexity order n. I tell you why. Very soon I'll show you why. But this time I'll again use the induction. But so I tell you why I know that it is order n. Look at the constant. One is 1/5, another is 7 over 10. If you roughly add up say 1/5 and 7 over 10, what does it become? It becomes less than 1. 9 by 10, which is less than 1. Once you have Tn is equal to T some n over c, where c is greater than 1, 10 over 9 is greater than 1, fraction of n, and plus order n, you can always say it is order of n. And why it is so, I'll tell you, I'll show you again. But since we know that, by induction what I will assume, see what I just told you, n over 5 and add 7n over 10, I cannot do it because they are inside T. So that's why to tackle this I have to use the induction. Okay. So let's assume, so we prove Tn is equal to order of n by assuming Tk is less than equal to Ck for k less than n. So if I do that, then it is Tn is less than equal to, what should I write? Tn is less than equal to C n by 5 7 by 10 plus order n. This is equal to C times 9 over 10 n plus order n. Again I do the same trick. Now you choose your C. I have 1 over 10 to play with. I have to prove that this is less than equal to Cn. I have only 9 over 10. I can always play with C. I choose C1 properly so that total addition becomes n. I can always do that. I can choose C properly. Whatever it is. So this is like C 9 over 10 n plus some C1 n. So I have to choose C such that basically C 9 over 10 plus C1 is less than C. I have to choose C like that, and that I can always do for any positive C. So choose that way, and this will be less than equal to C. So it is order of n, this entire algorithm.
Breaking up the right hand side again, like Tn is less than Tn by 5 plus something. So we break up Tn by 5 again into Tn.
Yes, we can do that. Yes, that's a very good thing to say. But what will happen, you will very soon, is since there are two terms, there will be too many terms to take care of it. But if you can do it, yes, that's another way of doing it. Actually, precisely that's the way I will show you why this remains linear when fraction of the inputs are going out, if you break it. But since there are two, see, each term will generate two terms. So if you can keep track of it properly, yes, you can again show it is to be right. Actually, what he said is very correct, and that's the way I will show you why when your fraction of the inputs are going away, it is still remaining order of n. So that's the analysis. That let us do that. So suppose you have a complexity Tn, and you know a fraction of the inputs are always you are throwing out and recursing on the remaining part. So Tn is equal to Tn over C plus, say this is linear order n. Suppose this is your complexity where C is greater than 1. Remember, if it is less than 1, it is not a fraction of the input. Suppose this has happened. This has happened in your complexity analysis. Then you can always safely claim that the total complexity will remain n. Why? Let us see. As Shantoshil has already pointed out, the Tn over C I can always expand again. Tn over C I can always expand once more using the same recurrence relation. So what should be, if I do that, what should be the case? So Tn by C square plus order of n over C plus order n. Do it once more. Tn over C cube, this gives you a term of n over C cube plus order of n over C plus order of n. Just go on doing it. Just go on. Sorry, this will be C square, this will be C, sorry. N over C square, n over. So if you just unravel this recurrence like this, ultimately somewhere you will reach say T1, and this will give you the like order n over say C to the power k plus order n over C k minus 1 goes up to order n, where I am assume, this is an assumption, that n is equal to C to the power k. This is for simplifying the analysis. If it is not true, you can always do the trick, you can pad some more numbers such that this is true. Okay, this is just to simplify analysis, otherwise you have to take care of the border cases. Okay. Now T1 we know constant, we can forget about this term. Now what is this one? Let us look at this. If I write the reverse manner, it is, I am taking out order outside, okay, I can always do that because all the constants I can just put a constant. So this is n plus n over C plus n over C square, n over C cube, it goes on to n over Ck, say suppose. Right? Okay. Now let us be very pessimistic, that I can write order n plus n over C plus n over C square, it goes on, it's an infinite series. I just added all the terms after that, until unless that becomes 1. But this is what? This is a geometric series with 1 over C. Each time you are dividing it by C. Do you remember this infinite series sum? So this will be what? Order of n over 1 minus 1 over C. Remember this? Okay. Now I told you C is greater than 1. So this is a fraction. So 1 minus fraction, this is definitely, I can always say this is a constant, 1 minus 1 over C. So this is definitely order of n. See, this trick you cannot do if C is not greater than 1. This particularly this formula is valid when C is greater than 1. So so basically that's why it has to be a fraction of the input. So now remember, in design analysis it is very important to know, in the divide and conquer, again it's a fraction when you are expressing it as Tn is equal to some constant time Tn over C, generally 2, you put 2, divide and conquer always you put 2. But the problem there, why it is not giving linear, because there is a multiplicative factor with Tn over C. In when you express, so Tn is equal to 2 Tn over 2. The problem was here, there was a 2 here. So this is the divide and conquer, D and C. But in the prune and search, this will be Tn over 2. So this is the prune and search. And the difference is here, there is no 2 here. There was a 2, there is no 2 here. And that made all the differences. This becomes linear, this becomes n log n. All right. So what you should do now, actually why it is n log n, you can always prove using the same trick. You can unravel it again and you will see why n log n is coming. Now what I would tell you to go through this, our book, the textbook by Leiserson, Kerben and Rives. That book, if you go through the first chapter, there is a master theorem of complexity. There is one theorem called master theorem, which will tell you what is the relationship between these constants have to be satisfied for different analysis. I would not, you just see that master theorem. It is probably it is not easy to remember that master theorem, but you don't have to remember it all the time. If you know this way to analyze, you can always analyze your algorithm your own way and come up with the right solution. You just unravel it and see. But you should see the master theorem. So now, did you understand the two paradigms now? Prune and search, another is divide and conquer. Okay. See, in this particular course, it's very important to know the strategy. Probably it's not so important that how this particular selection algorithm has been solved, but how this paradigm is being used. So at the beginning of the course, somebody asked, said, how can we know how to solve it? Yeah, I cannot give you a formula how to solve it. But this so given a problem, probably what you should do, first try divide and conquer. Suppose it does not work, try say prune and search. Does not work, try another paradigm. You will know other paradigms. But you need to know the strategies by which you should attack the problem. Some will work, some may not work. It depends how hard you are working, how concentrated you are on solving the problem. Okay. So now what I do, I just write down the algorithm. I have not given the pseudo algorithm for the select. So I am going to write down the pseudo algorithm, and you go back home and check everything is correct or not. Function select PRI if r minus p plus 1 less than equal to 50, then insertion sort P1 r return a p plus I minus 1. Oh, you cannot see that? Insertion sort, I am going to write. So this is P1R. Basically insertion sort all this. If the total number of input is less than equal to some constant, you just do it by sorting, because that will take a constant time. If the number of input is constant, say 50, I have chosen 50 as a constant. You do it in a brute force manner. You sort them as you told the first algorithm. Sort them, select it. And the entire thing will remain constant because your input is constant, order of 1. Okay, so this will define your base case in the analysis. Else k is equal to r minus p plus 1 divided by 5. This is n by 5 basically. For j is equal to 0 to k minus 1, do again insertion sort. This is for median finding for 5 numbers, p plus j k r n for, this is median of median, which you give a recursive call select p plus 2k, p plus 3k minus 1, k f2.
What is the second argument for insertion sort?
Yeah.
What is it?
I'll give you the insertion sort routine. Wait for it. P1R. P1R. P plus J, KR. P plus 2K, p plus 3k minus 1 k div 2. There is nothing after n for. AP is A mid. You just write it, okay? You cannot see now? Is it out of focus? Can you focus it? Q is partition PR. If I is less than equal to Q minus P plus 1, then return select what you can, okay, I am reading it, just hold on. L you can write this, else k is equal to r minus p plus 1 div 5 for j is equal to 0 to k minus 1, do insertion sort with the arguments p plus j k r n for made select equal to select is an assignment, not equal to, select p plus 2k p plus 3k minus 1 k div 2. AP is exchanged with A made. Q is assigned partition PR. If I is less than equal to Q minus P plus 1, then return select PQI, else return select Q plus 1 R I minus Q minus P plus 1. I minus Q minus P plus 1. Q plus 1. R I minus Q minus P plus 1. This is end if. So this is the algorithm for select. So somebody said that what is the algorithm for insertion sort? I hope you can write it yourself, but since you asked it, I am going to write it again. Procedure insertion sort P K N. Last is P plus K, while last is less than equal to N, do position equal to last. I don't have to explain this why it is. You can go back and check why it is. Very easy. Greater than P and A position is greater than A position minus K, do A position is exchanged, A position minus k, position is position minus k end while last equal to last plus k end while, sorry, this end, actually this end while should be with this end while, and that's it. That's the insertion sort. Okay, so these two algorithms, if you go back and check, you can see why it is working, because there are some indices and all these things. If we try to analyze here, it will be very clumsy and it's not needed. If you have understood the algorithm, what I just said, even you can write your own way. So what is the strategy? Again, let me just go back to the strategy of median finding. One is the randomized median finding or randomized k smallest selection. How do you do it? You use the partition routine. You choose the pivot randomly, partition into two parts, see the element whether it is in the left half or right half, recurs only on one part accordingly. That's the randomized algorithm. In the deterministic algorithm, you choose the pivot so that you are guaranteed one of the part you are throwing away is at least a fraction of n. How can you guarantee it? What you do, the strategy is find the median in linear time. Then you are sure to throw away at least half of the elements. How can you find the median? The algorithm is, first you make the groups of 5, all the elements. Then find out the median of these groups of 5 in constant time using any method, preferably using the insertion sort. Then you find the median of all these n over 5 medians recursively. Then you take this median of median as the pivot to partition your array and recurse. And we have already shown that this median of median always partitions the array such that at least 3n over 10 elements are thrown away. And I have shown you the analysis. If you do that way, the complexity remains linear.